What would you say is the biggest challenge for in-house counsel right now around D&I?
Well, I think I've given this a lot of thought recently. As you know, we've talked about it a lot. I think, and this is such a good thing, I mean, the tide has really turned. I mean, I think at the board of directors level, at the CEO level, at the senior executive level, organizations understand that inclusion and diversity efforts are not just nice to have, but they're essential to have. And it is so important that we move the needle. I think as an in-house counsel trying to manage moving the organization forward and the policy that my clients want to promote, which is wonderful, and keeping those efforts legally compliant and making sure obviously that we stay out of trouble with that. And I think with inclusion and diversity efforts, because it's such a good thing and people think, oh, well, what could possibly happen? And you just want to make sure that you're doing it in the right way, and you make sure you're respecting the rights of all of your employees and applicants who are coming through. So I think for us, that's the most important thing, just keeping that, and obviously not dampening the enthusiasm, but promoting the enthusiasm, but in a legally compliant way.
What do you think is happening in the discussion or the narrative around inclusion and diversity? Where is it going right now for U.S. multinationals?
I think we need to translate the message. The inclusion and diversity message, I think, especially for U.S.-based multinationals, tends to be somewhat U.S.-focused, and I think we need to broaden that. That's something that at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, our legal department is very cognizant of, making sure that that message translates so it's not something that's coming from the U.S. and people aren't understanding or not seeing why it's important. I think it's got to be a global message, and it's got to be relatable to all of our employees all over the world.
Which ties back to, again, that focus on inclusion that's particular to HP at the moment.
Right. I mean, the future is inclusion. Diversity is, when we think about diversity, we often think of the numbers, the stats. Important to measure, because as many people say, what doesn't get measured doesn't get done.
Right.
But I think the focus is really on the inclusion, making everyone who works for a company feel like they are part of the success of that company. And it's not just about gender or ethnicity or race or religion. It's about age, it's about family status, it's about where you are in your career, where you live, what your values are. And I think that's really important to keep in mind as we move forward.
Great. Switching gears a little bit, what do you think is going to be the next thing, or what employers will be focused on in the next 5 years?
I think, as I said, I think it's really the inclusion effort. I think that's making work for everyone, I think, is really important. Something I think about a lot, because I have kids, is how do we make work and company life, corporate culture, more accessible to parents? I think that's really important. How do we make it more accessible to people who are not parents but have other commitments and other obligations? Because frankly, we're all human and we all do. So I think that it's that broadening the mindset to this is what a successful employee looks like, to this all can be what a successful employee looks like.